there, welcome back to the next part of your project. I do encourage you to go and watch the other parts of the project before you get to this one, as this might be a little out of context. But by all means, you are very welcome to jump in at any point and then go back to the start and see what elements you have missed. We were talking last time about how to choose colours for your project, and this was kind of where we ended up, or certainly where I ended up with mine. But of course, there's all sorts of materials that you can use. Now, you might be a seasoned artist. You might have all sorts of stuff out there. You might have watercolours and crayons and all kinds of things, in which case you're going to have lots to choose between. But I wanted to make it really clear that you don't need a lot of posh equipment to be able to complete this project. Now, I'm going to be using watercolours because I feel very confident with a brush in my hand. In fact, a lot of the time, I feel more confident with a brush in my hand than I necessarily do with anything else. That's just because the nature of my job. But that doesn't mean that's the only way of doing it. In fact, you might have already decided that one of the things that you really want to do is to use a set of coloured pencils instead, which of course you can do. The softer the pencils, the easier they are to blend. But these are pencils that I use with all of the small people in my life, and they're absolutely fine. There's no reason at all. Have a good practice on a piece of paper. Again, if you can, the same piece of paper that you have got your project drawn out onto, to make sure that they work in a way that you find pleasing, that you can colour or blend or do all sorts of other things with. Now, it might not just be coloured pencils that work for you. I have got several fancy tins of fine liners and, I can't even get the lid off this one, and felt tip pens. And again, you might have lots of colours at your disposal. Have a practice. See how many that you want to put together. Don't, particularly with the sort of cheaper end of felt tip pens, don't rely on the colour of the cap, because what they look like this might be a little different to how they appear on the paper. Now, I'm actually just going to put those away, going to use a combination of the two. I'm going to use my watercolours, which I use every single day, because those are the things that I feel most confident with. But I've also got a rather interesting set of felt tips. These were not expensive at all. These are like a felt tip pen that has a brush at one end and a fine liner at the other end. You could use similar to this, or you could even use felt tip pens that are designed for children, where they say that they're washable because they have a really interesting property that you might not have ordinarily heard about. Now, I'm going to, somewhere I've stashed it, do you remember that piece of paper where I was testing out my pens to make sure that they were waterproof? I'm just going to give some of these colours a run for their money, because I have a feeling I'm going to change my mind about something. So in the last part, these were the colours that I was looking at using. And let me just show you my very scrappy watercolour box. I think we call this well used rather than dirty. I'm going to fish those colours out of my box. I've got my kind of duskier yellow. Now, the Scarlet Lake, if you were watching the previous part, you would probably remember that I said that I probably wasn't going to use red on its own, that I was going to mix an orange out of it, but I've actually changed my mind about that. So I'm going to stick that to one side because I'm going to use something else. And then I've got my duskier violet. I've got my kind of brighter purple colour. And then let's just find that turquoise as well. So I've got those paints ready to go. This is a colour that I've squeezed out into pans. You might have it in tubes. You might have a lovely little kind of travel set, which you can use. But honestly, anything, just grab anything and have a go with it, because it's better to be creative with slightly more affordable materials than it is to not be creative at all. Now, going back to those pens that I was talking about, You can probably see here that we're kind of in the same ballpark. I've got a sort of like a lavender colour, I've got a turquoisey colour, I've got a yellow. But instead of me going to all that trouble to mix that orange, I thought I'd just use an orange pen. That will be so much easier. But the reason that those washable felt tip pens possibly will stand you in good stead is if you colour with them, and you can see here that I've got a brush tip to that pen, and then you find yourself a brush, doesn't have to be anything posh, and you wet that brush, you can move your felt tip pens on the surface because they're designed to be washable. They're designed to wash out of clothes. But what that means is you can use that colour and blend it with a damp brush. So let's have another look at these colours, shall we? So I'm going to use my watercolour for that kind of strong yellow. I think I've actually washed that out a bit too far. Let's put some more down so that I can see just how strong potentially that colour can be. Ooh, get the lid on. And then I've got my paler, what is called ultramarine violet, but it doesn't really matter what it's called. It's that sort of softer violet there. And then I've got my duskier violet, which is quite dark and quite rich, and I'm hoping is going to be the colour that I choose for the actual initial. And then on the end, let's have a look at this turquoisey colour that possibly is going to work really well as another punchy colour. And I think, let's get rid of those, I think that combination is going to work rather beautifully. It's muted in places and punchy in others. I also think that potentially I might get a slightly different kind of turquoisey green colour out of mixing the yellow and the turquoise together. So I have the potential for that if I want it to happen too. I'm not sure about that one. Jury's going to be out on that one. Maybe it'll happen serendipitously. I don't know. But I think for me, if I make the background this kind of pale colour and I put the letter in this kind of colour, and then I use the yellow and the oranges and the turquoise for the other elements, I think that's going to work really well. And so I've got my paints, I've got my pens, I've got my brush. I maybe need a slightly bigger brush as well so that I can put the background in. I've got a pot of water to one side. And then I'm reaching across my board because I didn't quite get it ready. The last thing that I'm going to need is a piece of kitchen roll, because that is going to be something that I can use to mop up, that I can use to control the water on my brushes, and also provides me with a bit of a security blanket to have in my non-painting hand as I go around. Now, one of the other things that I haven't decided on doing, and you may choose to do, is I might put, I'm just thinking out loud, I was wondering if I should put some masking tape around the edge of my square so that I don't get paint anywhere else. But I know that this particular paper that I've chosen doesn't like masking tape an awful lot. So maybe just try and paint neatly, and it might be interesting for you to see that anyway. So in the next part, we're going to come back together and we're actually going to start painting in our letter.